All right, how's it going, everyone? Looks like everything is working smoothly here. So we are starting a few minutes early. We're really going to kick it off here in a couple minutes, but we wanted to make sure all the tech was good, and we're excited. I'm excited. So I get to host Hirect and a variety of other people on the channel for the next hour and a half or so, talking about different jobs in crypto and kind of what people are looking for. I have some cool information for you on different job openings. I believe it's just over 100, and there are links underneath the video so you can check out the Hirect app. So that way you can get the latest information from different startups and what they're looking for. And then there is also a link underneath the video that gives you a list of a lot of the job openings right now and gives you kind of projected salary ranges. Obviously, everyone will get paid a different amount depending on expertise and time in the field and all kinds of stuff. So I did want to tell you about that before we get started, because I think that is going to be a great resource for a lot of people. And honestly, I love crypto. If you've been on the channel before, you know that. If you're new to the channel, a little bit about me. I studied medicine in college. I was pre-med, got done with all my courses, realized that I didn't want to go for another 7 years of schooling and residency. So I got really interested in personal finance. From there, I felt like I found out, like, I don't want to be blasphemous or anything, but like I felt like I found like a hidden text. Like everything made so much sense. And I felt like I found the gospel that makes everyone happy. If you can just hit financial independence, you've made it. And I kept on telling people about financial independence, the FIRE movement, stuff like that. And no one seemed really that interested. The people around me didn't seem that interested. So I decided to make a YouTube channel and talk about financial independence, personal finance, stocks with people that actually liked it. From there, I did that for a year, and I was lucky enough to make it to the point where I could quit my day job. That was actually in retail banking. And I was able to transition myself to working full-time on YouTube. Now, around the beginning of the year, I found that there was a lot of potential in stocks. Obviously, towards the beginning of the year, stocks were going crazy, but I started to realize there was a movement happening, and it was in crypto. There were so many people adopting it, so many new use cases, so many big players, so many whales that were trying to get in, that it was just obvious to me that I could see everything happening around crypto and all the adoption, and a lot of people don't understand it. So it's still something that's relatively new. A lot of people don't want to spend the time to figure out what it means, how to invest in it, what kind of opportunity there is in it. And I've spent a good majority of the year focusing on that. So starting around the beginning of the summer, I really almost transitioned my YouTube channel to all crypto content, because I felt like there's so much more potential, and there was such a misunderstanding for the opportunity in front of us. So I really started to get interested in that. And I feel like I'm a very lucky person, because I can do what I want and learn what I want and spend time on what I want because of what I do. And I realize a lot of people don't have that. Now, you might be in a day job, you might be studying in college, but I know that a lot of people don't have time to try to focus on something like crypto, which is why I want to bring this to your attention here today, because I think this is going to be a great opportunity for a lot of people that want to get into the crypto space. Now, it's still a relatively new area, so I know a lot of people, myself included, I don't even know all the opportunities that there are in crypto and what people are hiring for, what kind of job positions there are. But you'd be surprised. I'm sure that there are way more jobs and different types of jobs than what you would typically consider in crypto. It's not just all coders. So that's why I wanted to bring on some different people on the channel here today. And that's why Hirect is helping me, because they work with all these different companies that will be coming on today. So that's where we're going to go through. We're going to talk with different people in positions of power or higher up positions in these companies, and ask what they're looking for, where they see crypto going, what they do and why is it important, that kind of stuff. So it should give you a good idea. But again, there are links underneath the video in case you want a more bullet point list of all the different jobs and salary ranges and stuff like that. So definitely check those links out underneath the video. Stay through to the end too, because there are a lot of different people that we're going to talk to in a lot of different situations and a lot of different job opportunities. So again, I'm just really excited. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat and we'll answer some of the questions that come up. I'm sure if you have specific questions for anyone that's talking, we can definitely try to put those in. Obviously, we can't answer all the questions because I have questions myself, but we'll do our best. So we are ready for Brian. So Brian is the co-founder of Structure. So he's going to be our first person that we're talking to today. So Brian, glad to have you on. I'd love just at the beginning to hear what it is that you guys do at Structure.
Yeah, sure, thanks. So I'm Brian Hernandez. I'm the president and co-founder of Structure. Structure is a mobile-first trading application. We provide a number of features that we think are suitable for people of all skill levels in trading and investing. And we're talking both crypto focused, but also traditional financial assets. So we offer the full universe of asset classes available on the platform: crypto, stocks, commodities, ETFs, bonds, forex, options, everything that you would a modern investor would want to be able to allocate some amount of their portfolio to. We put that all under one roof and make it easy and accessible to the broader mainstream. We built this product with this sort of DeFi interoperability future in mind. We think that future of finance is going to be more decentralized than it is today. Today, I think the total value of crypto assets is only about 0.5% of the total worldwide value of all assets, and I think that has a lot of room to grow. So we believe that we need products, easy to use products that are accessible to everyday people to participate in that. And we've seen a number of participants that have taken a similar view in finance, and we think that there's certainly a lot more growth room there. So that's what Structure is about, allowing the everyday person to participate in not only trading and investing, but also everything that's going on in DeFi.
I love that. I feel like it's difficult these days to find a lot of places where you can invest in everything in one place. I know like a lot of the big apps, they're either just stocks or they're just cryptos. It's hard to find one that's actually suitable for everything, which
Yeah,
is
and for
awesome.
good reason. I mean, these systems are not trivial to build. And fortunately, we're seeing like a huge explosion of growth and innovation that's occurring in DeFi, because the only thing that's limiting that growth is how fast engineers and developers can come up with the good ideas and build them. But the legacy financial system, that's where most of the value is kept, still to this day, and it's on the back of many years. Recording started. On the back of many years of development, and so the systems we have today are a function of the course we've taken through history. One of the things that we're doing at Structure that's unique is that for financial assets that are not natively blockchain based, so everything like stocks, etc., we help you tokenize those to withdraw them to a blockchain of your choice. So say you open your account, you fund it with some Bitcoin, and you want to buy some shares of Apple or Tesla. We'll help you do that, but then you want to use that value and you want to take it into some DeFi application like an AMM or some other yield farming program. Boom, we can tokenize to the blockchain where you want to do that, and now you have that value that's unlocked from that legacy system.
That's awesome. So can you explain a little bit why someone might want to do that?
Well, we cater to a number of different types of customers, right? So it depends on where you come from, but certainly it's no secret that the best investment opportunities in the world are occurring in DeFi right now. When you look at some of the APYs that the different yield farming programs and incentives are offering, it's eye-popping by any comparison to the traditional financial ecosystem. Now, this isn't investment advice, of course, but one of the reasons why I would want this product for myself is because I have a good amount of my portfolio that's not in crypto, and it's pretty dormant. There's not a lot I can do. I can't put that capital to work to take advantage of some of these other protocols. So once those assets are tokenized and in token form, I have custody of that asset, and I can move it and put it into whatever smart contract that is appealing to me.
Interesting. I like that. I've heard of that happening before, people building things that can do that, but honestly, it's hard to come by a lot of companies that I think offer that, which is cool. So, do you guys have anything really interesting coming up in the future? I know crypto moves so quickly, so we're always excited about the things that we're working on now. Is there anything that you can kind of tell us about that you guys are working on?
Yeah, so our next big event will be the release of the product to the public user base. We've been in development for about a year and a half, and we're testing it internally in the internal team in private beta, like buying and selling stocks against crypto, tokenization on different blockchains, and we're kicking the tires, and hopefully when we see a level of stability and maybe in a couple months, that'll be open to the broader public. Until then, you can sign up for early access on our website, which is structure.fi, and get in line so that you can get access to the product earlier. But this will be the big unveiling for our next big event.
Awesome. So, obviously, we've talked a little bit about what you guys do, but what are you looking for from people that want to join you? Is it just like all coders? Is it a mixture of different job applicants that you're looking for?
Yeah, good question. I mean, we certainly don't have any shortage of coding positions like on the team. It's a very tech forward company, but fundamentally, we believe, like, and everyone on the team believes that crypto and DeFi, what's happening, what we're participating in, is one of the most exciting developments that we're going to see in our lifetime. I think that the development in decentralized finance is going to be one of the biggest wealth transfers in history. And if you want to be part of that story, I don't care what your skill set is. I think we could probably find like an interesting position for you. So we're talking engineers, designers, scientists, writers. Even if you just like to, trade and gamble on stocks, I think if you're passionate about where this industry is going, like there's certainly like a lot of work to be done.
Awesome. And then I just want to ask this because you've been in the crypto market longer than I have. Where do you see crypto like in the next 5 to 10 years? Kind of a fun question here.
Sure. Well, I think it's gonna, like I said, a good KPI to measure like the penetrance is both the total amount of asset value that crypto represents against all value in the world of assets, and currently it's around 50 basis points. I think we're going to see that grow dramatically. I think we're going to see the continuing adoption from sovereign state governments, whether that's in the form of the central bank digital currencies or that's in the form of sort of friendly regulatory environments. You're going to see the adoption from a lot of the tier one banks in some form or fashion. They've been quietly working on this stuff for a long time. I mean, in short, you're going to see the complete eating of traditional finance into DeFi.
Sure. And you might have answered this a little bit just now, but someone asked a really good question. Cryptocurrency prices are historically very volatile, especially compared to stocks or other types of investments with large swings day to day, even for something like Bitcoin. Someone wants to know why would they enter a job in something that's so shaky and unreliable in their words there?
Well, these are two different things. Like working on in a job at a crypto company is not the same thing as owning the asset and all the volatility associated with it. I come from like a market making and quantitative trading background, so volatility is good for that business. I think the signal that you should think about is not the volatility of the asset prices, but is this space likely to grow in importance and in size or shrink over the next few years or the time horizon that you're interested for your career? So
Yeah.
I think most people, it's a pretty safe bet that we're still in the first or second inning of this game, and it's a pretty safe bet, I think, to at least educate yourself more on what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer because I think one of the easiest things for people to understand in that way is if you look at brokerage companies or like Coinbase or Voyager or something, if you look at their earnings, volatility is fantastic. Like you said, like if there's a huge sell-off, they make a lot of money from that as long as it's not dead forever. So I think that that's a great point you made there. There's one other question. Are there any worthwhile certificate programs that you can recommend to get certified in crypto or blockchain? Something that will stand out for employers? Yeah. So
It's a good question. I'm not aware of any off the top of my head. However, I think demonstrating your competency through like real participation in the industry. If you're a developer, that might be like actually deploying smart contract code, participating with one of the big foundations of the layer one blockchains like the Ethereum Foundation. If you're not a technical person, then jumping into the DAOs or the different communities and actually providing value and like having a voice, I think I would weigh that much more highly as compared to any certification from a Coursera or something like that. Not to say that that would be a waste of time. It just isn't the same level of sort of signal for me as an employer.
Awesome. Well, Brian, thanks so much for coming on. There's information underneath the video. And as he said, you can check out more information on their website.
Cool. Thanks for having me, Sam.
Thanks. Yeah.
Bye.
All right. So now we have Price, the co-founder of Utopia Labs, coming on to chat with us for a little bit. And again, feel free to check out the app. Feel free to check out the links underneath the video. And feel free to ask some questions too, because we're reading them here. Price, good to have you on.
Great to be here. Good morning.
Morning. So can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do over at Utopia Labs?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. My volume was down, so I didn't hear the earlier part of what you said. But yeah, so I'm Price. I'm one of the co-founders of Utopia Labs. We're a DAO tooling startup. So for people who may not know what a DAO is, it stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And what that has taken the form of, really, in a lot of cases, is it's a community, a crypto community or company that has a shared treasury that makes a lot of decisions democratically. And so what we do at Utopia Labs is we're building a lot of the stack to help these organizations scale. And right now, what that looks like for us is we're building out a better suite of tools to help them manage their payments and contributors. But we're really excited to see like how this space evolves and really evolve as this tech stack, this new technology continues to grow, and find more ways that we can support these really amazing organizations that are just doing so much. And many of you probably have seen Constitution DAO. That's just one example of like the really amazing applications of this technology. So yeah, super excited to be chatting about Utopia Labs and DAOs.
That's awesome. I feel like, first of all, a lot of people have a hard time understanding crypto. And then after they understand crypto, like DAOs are way down the road. And then even trying to think about how you would build a business around a DAO and like all the infrastructure tools that you need in place, way down the road. So it's like difficult for people to wrap their head around how difficult I think that probably is. So that's awesome. If I read right, did you meet the co-founders on Discord?
Yeah, it's actually a really funny story. So just this like for the past year, I've just been like, delving a lot deeper into crypto, just like, and, just a little bit more about me and my background. I'm someone who's like been in a lot of areas that, were, under-resourced. So like when I first like kind of understood what crypto was, it just meant so much to me that like, there's finally this system where anyone, no matter where they are in the world, can just have access to, this amazing revolution in the way like, people can engage with the economy and so much more. And so I just wanted to like just dedicate myself to this since like we got started. And so I just started like, putting myself out there, reaching out to people. A friend of a friend introduced me to one of my co-founders, and he introduced me to like two other guys he had met through like, Twitter. And, we just started putting together, just started doing hackathons together. And we just started, building projects and just having a lot of fun with that. And at a certain point, we really fell in love with how the overarching structure of a lot of how these crypto communities were organizing themselves, which, are DAOs. And so like, even some groups that may not call themselves DAOs, they organize as DAOs. And so we just fell in love with this like new style of governance, and we just wanted to build anything we could to like, support that. So, we kept on, building, and, at a certain point we were really lucky to get to meet Steve Jang from Kindred Ventures. And he had some early faith in us, as well as some amazing angels that like took a bet on us. And we were able to like raise around to get started. And we built out our V1. It's on mainnet now. We've just been having a great time helping DAOs.
That's awesome. I feel like maybe 5 or 10 years ago, if you had told someone that you met someone on the internet and they asked like, did you ever meet him in real life? And you're like, no, they would have made fun of you. But now I feel like it's so commonplace, and you can gain such a presence just on Twitter or just in Discord or whatever social platform. And like, you can be a known entity on those and get job opportunities, get work with people. And now like some of my really good friends I've never once met in person, but I'd say like I'm inviting a couple people to my wedding next year and I've never met them in real life. But I love that that's an opportunity and that's how you guys met, which is cool.
Yeah, it's actually just so amazing to see how these like Web3 communities are like growing and building, and it's like it's way more than like, you know, we're coworkers or we're this or that.
Yeah.
We're building like, you know, really lasting friendships and like relationships through like, you know, this like new way of like organizing, and it's just been really cool to see because like some of my closest friends now are just people I met are people I met on the internet, and I think that's just like a prevailing way of like how people will continue to build community in this new way.
Yeah, especially because I think it is so hard to talk to this stuff about or to people that you normally talk with. Like I'm not going to my family members and talking about DAOs with them. So you have to find someone that's interested in it like you are. So can you tell me a little bit more what you guys are looking for and people that you're hiring or what kind of job positions you're looking for, that kind of thing?
Yeah, right now we are hiring for engineers. Just we're looking for a lot of front end and back end engineers to help us like continue to. We have like a lot of exciting things we're working on, and really excited to, you know, continue like scaling. But what that needs is like more people to help out. So we're just looking for people who like, you know, have that experience like, you know, building things and like shipping product to just like come join us. And like I'd say like one thing we're just really focused on is like, you know, a great attitude and just like a really a love for like customer problems. You know, we spend a lot of time chat like our customers were also our early backers, so like we have a lot of respect for like everyone in the space, and like it's a very personal thing to work in this space. So we in the people who join us, we would love to have like someone who has a lens for like, you know, that real deep customer empathy in what we're building.
Awesome. Uh, just the fun question here. Where do you see crypto in 5 to 10 years?
Um, so I guess I'll talk about that from the perspective of someone who's like really deep in the DAO space.
Yeah.
So I think that in 5 years, the term DAO will be less and less used because it'll just be so common. A lot of the infrastructure and the tech stack that these Web3 companies are using will become so common across like every type of company that like it'll no longer be just like, you know, this is a DAO. No, this is just how you run a business, because just the upside of running a business on the blockchain and having, you know, transparent queryable transactions that are running through your business are just, it's so huge. And there's so much that can be built on top of that, and we're excited to like, you know, help out as much as we can with that on Utopia. But I just think the lines between like, you know, what is a Web3 business versus what is a, you know, Web2 business will be like very much blurred, because everyone will begin to see more and more of the benefits of what we can do here.
Yeah, and I think we're already seeing that with a lot of some of the largest companies in the world transitioning to crypto, well, what used to be considered only crypto, I guess like metaverse plays, but Facebook, Nike, Microsoft, all focusing on the metaverse. So I feel like that's just going to get more and more blurred, like you said, with all the different options that people can get into. So very
100%.
cool. We have a question from someone watching. Someone they say, I just got interested in crypto. Where should I go to learn more about jobs in the industry and become more educated on the topics in crypto?
That's a great question. One thing I really love about the space we're working in, I think one thing that happened pretty early is people like, you know, there's in our space, there's like just this like flood of like lots and lots of information. And I think like, you know, people like you, Sam, do a really great job of, you know, helping educate people and like sifting through and curating the information. But one thing is I stick to like, you know, sort of like if I say that like if I'd say the best advice for sort of like hopping in right now is one, you know, there's Gabby Goldberg is someone I respect a lot, and she's put together a list of really great pieces on the space that are like really a really great starter pack that you can find on her blog. And then another thing is just like start experimenting, start buying NFTs. I read a really great tweet like, you know, the fastest, you know, way to learn in this space is to have some skin in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. I think it's too easy to just trade on paper, but not actually have anything at risk. And I appreciate the kind words about that. I guess part of being in the space is trying to kind of get over fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and maybe misinformation. There's someone that asked a question here, and this is, again, not me saying this, but they say a single crypto transaction uses in a second the same amount of energy that 2 homes in the US use in a month. How can there be a future in something so sustainable, or unsustainable? So can you answer that a little bit? Again, not coming from me because I think that is wrong, but what are your thoughts?
So I think one thing I think we need to just do better about in the space is education on sort of what the actual text, like what's behind the actual tech stack, because there's been a lot of room for like, misinformation from like very trusted sources that have not been the best for the space. But I think on the other hand of that, aside of that, there's not been really anyone sort of standing up and saying, oh, here's like the actual facts, and like, writing, comprehensive, like guides and information on like why it isn't as like, it's just typical, like, what it takes to run technology, the same as like AWS or, but yeah, I definitely, I 100% empathize with, the not wanting to like, pile on anything that could be worse for the environment. But at the same time, it's, it's a tech stack, it's a technology. And it's no more harmful than any other technology.
Yeah, I always like looking at the stats of how much energy all the retail banks use, like in the world or the US or something, just keeping their lights on, running computers, all that kind of stuff, and compare that to what happens in crypto. And it puts it in a little bit more perspective, I think.
100%.
Yeah. 100%. And then last question for you. Do you have any advice on breaking into crypto for less technical roles? Maybe someone that's not an engineer or something like that.
100%. I think one thing that's been really exciting to see in DAOs especially is that they are really hungry for people who are like, just really excited to like, hop in and start contributing. And that doesn't just mean writing code. That could mean, creating content, writing guides, helping with like business plans, like economic stuff. But it's kind of just like, just like finding the needs in the space, or like by just like spending more time, in these communities, and just like, building that trust. And then like from there, it's like that's where like, when something like comes up, that's where the opportunities really arise. I think, but also I'd say checking out a lot of Web3 job boards, because there are a lot of like non-technical roles that people are looking for, like especially like community managers and like like business operations. I'd say are huge roles that like a lot of people are looking for really great people who want to delve in. But I think one thing that's like on the other side of that is like I'd say that people are also looking for people who have these DAO leaders are looking for people who have delved into the space a bit deeper, and like have like built up like trust in the space. So I think just like continuing to like just be a part in these communities, and like hop in where you can, and just like engaging is like the biggest part.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think a lot of people forget that there are like all the normal business operations in these crypto businesses.
100%.
Like the next person we're talking to is the head of people. Like you don't have to have 10 years of crypto experience to be the head of people, right? So I think a lot of people forget that these are still businesses that have all the normal positions that you would normally have, like HR and sales and stuff like that. So awesome. I appreciate so much, Price. Thank you for coming on. Again, more information on them underneath the video.
Yeah, it's so great talking with you. Thanks for the invite. Glad.
Definitely. Thanks.
Great to be here. Okay.
Yep. Good to have you. Bye. So next we have Leslie, who is the head of people at Horizen Labs. So pretty excited about this one. Again, just a reminder, there are links underneath the video in case you want a list of a bunch of open jobs in crypto. And you can also check out the Hirect app. I know I keep on talking about it, but I know people are filtering in and out. So I don't want anyone to be left without knowing where to go. So awesome. Leslie, thanks so much for coming on.
Hi, great to see you, and thanks for having me.
Definitely. So can you tell me a little bit more about what you guys do at Horizen Labs?
Sure. And I always want to preface, So I'm the head of people, and I'm not the head of technology. So if there are any tech questions or things that are involved with the engineering piece, if I can't answer questions, which I'm sure I can't, I'm always happy to pass along questions. But so I just wanted to preface that at the beginning. So Horizen Labs has actually been around since 2019. We are currently working within the Horizen ecosystem, which is a partner company of ours. And we're building products and services that are going to be built on the Horizen public blockchain. So we really want to enable anybody, any user, any enterprise company to be able to build their own blockchain. So that's kind of a summary of what Horizen Labs is doing.
Awesome. Well, I love having you on because you're not like a co-founder or someone that's super technical. You're like me, right? We're learning together, I feel like, which is awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah. So can you tell me maybe a little bit more about what the parent company does? I know you got into a little bit of it there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So and I think it's really helpful, and especially this comes up often when we're talking to candidates, because when they Google Horizen Labs, it'll also come up as Horizen. So I'll start there. So Horizen is actually the public blockchain. That company started about 4 years ago. So they actually celebrated their anniversary back in May. And they also created a native cryptocurrency, which is called Zen. So initially, when the company launched, that was their focus. It was kind of to enable and support this cryptocurrency. But then as the company was maturing and developing, they realized that they had the technology and the people involved that could enable anybody to be able to build their own blockchain system. So we are in the process, and that's actually, this is perfect timing. And I have some notes here as well. So we actually just released a product called Zendu to testnet. That was actually, I think, released last week. And basically what that's going to allow is ultimately allow people to be able to build their own sidechain technology.
That's very cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what are you guys looking for right now then in your candidates for your jobs?
So, we're looking for a lot of engineers, like most tech companies. So that doesn't make Horizen or Horizen Labs unique to the recruiting scene. But I think what we've realized is as we've grown over the years, is that you need to be adaptable to the environment. So that means one, be flexible in terms of where team members will sit. So we do have a hybrid model, which is really a great model for us. And I'll speak a little bit about to that. So we actually have a couple of satellite or actual offices, one in Milan, Italy, which is not a bad place to be or visit. And then we also have an office in New York City, which houses, which is our newest office and houses about 5 people. And the rest of us work 100% remote. So I'm on the West Coast of the US. We have some people in all over Europe. There's a team member in Panama. So what we've realized is, and what we can benefit from, is that we can go to where the talent is and we can be flexible. And I think that's really, really important. Obviously, we've all been impacted with the coronavirus over the past 2 years almost, and people had to adjust to work remotely. But where we, I think, didn't find ourselves off the mark was because our team was already operating in that capacity. So we had tools in place. We already understood that video calls were the norm and not the abnormal thing. So we were used to this technology. So I think that really was really beneficial to us. So I think most importantly for recruitment right now is you have to adjust very quickly. You have to really listen to the candidates. I think the relationships that you build are really, really critical. And I'll speak to this as well. Like, often referrals, most companies will say referrals are the best place to start. And we found a fair amount of team members that way, but referrals can only get you so far. Networks are limited. And that's why we have to kind of use every tool in our toolbox to attract great people, to let people know who we are, and let people know that this is a great place to work.
Nice. I like that. So what specifically about Horizen brought you to it? Because I think you said the other day, maybe you're not the most technical person. You said that today too, but I feel that way too sometimes when I talk with people that have been around crypto for so long. Like, I'm more bigger picture, and some people can really get into the weeds. So I guess what brought you to Horizen in general and kind of in the crypto space?
That's a great question. So Speaking of referrals, which I just mentioned, so I was actually brought in by one of our founders, Dean Steinbeck, who is our president and general counsel. So Dean and I used to work for a healthcare startup for about 5 years together, and we both left for different reasons. He left because I think he'd always had this emerging interest in cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. So I think that was his next passion, and so he followed that. Met one of our other co-founders, Rob Viglione, and they just hit it off and decided that this was the next venture for him. So we left our previous company with, kind of within the same year, and he reached out to me and said, hey, I need some help with some HR and some recruiting stuff. Like, are you interested? And I honestly said to him, I go, I know nothing about blockchain. I know nothing about cryptocurrency. And he said, you know what, just meet the people. You'll learn that stuff. It's not, HR is HR. So I kind of wavered, and then we were syncing again. And then I said, you know what, let's give it a go. Met Rob, which was really, Dean was absolutely accurate in reflecting that the team, that Rob is extremely personable. He's crazy smart, but he never makes you feel like you are asking a silly question. He's very, very accessible. So I think that energy is what, I started as a part-time kind of contractor, and now I've almost been with the company for 3 years. So that means, obviously, I was enjoying the people that I was working with. And I think that that's really what is one of the secret sauces to the organization, is that, yes, we love people who are passionate about crypto. That's great. But not everybody's going to have that same background. And I don't think you want that. I think you want to have people coming from different industries to give different perspectives, to come from different parts of the world. You just don't know what people can bring until they bring it to the table. So that's what brought me here. I think, again, it's those existing relationships. It's the continuing to work with people who are smart and innovative. And I think that's what's good. That's what's kept me here. And I think that that's what's attracting new talent to our organization.
Awesome. So as someone that has come in over the last couple of years, kind of dipped their toes in, now is fully in the crypto space, where do you see it in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, okay. So I think I will say, just from a recruiting standpoint, 2.5 years ago, when we were talking about crypto with anybody, with people who were interested in the organization, with candidates, it seemed to be still a little bit of a scary thing to people you were speaking to. It wasn't necessarily part of the mainstream that the way it is now, and has definitely been over the course of the past, I think, 18 months. So I think that one way that I think the talent wants to, the people who are interested in blockchain, they want to get into the industry, and that's really, really exciting. So I think as crypto, as blockchain is becoming just more and more common in everybody's language, I think that the industry is just going to take off. And I think that one of the biggest challenges for everyone involved is just keeping up with the trends. I should say keeping up with the long-term trends, because obviously you don't want to just be a flash in the pan. You want to be somebody who's going to really create a really solid foundation, especially as an employer. You don't want someone to think like, oh, they have all this money for 6 months, they spend it all, and now they don't have a job. So you want to make sure that we're creating a stable environment in a very unstable environment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to the technology in terms of like what's going to happen over the next 5 years, but I think that more and more people are going to want to be involved in the industry, work for cryptocurrency or work for blockchain companies, which again is so super exciting, because again, the different perspectives that are going to come are, I think, going to really add a lot of value.
That's awesome. And I meant to say this kind of at the beginning of the stream, but I feel like for so many people, it's so intimidating, right? Because we see crypto and it's just difficult to wrap your head around anyways. But for the people that are watching this, you're probably ahead of 99% of the people out there. Because, I mean, go to your next door neighbor and ask them to explain what Bitcoin or Ethereum is to you, and they're not going to have any idea. So if you're watching this, you're already ahead of 99% people. It's just like, I feel like it's just doing that little extra step to make yourself a little bit better for the people that want to hire you, right? Because there are so many different job positions, but you still need to stand out in some way, because there are a lot of people that are trying to get in, but it's still difficult, I think, for people to find good help these days, especially in something that's as specific and difficult to understand as crypto, which is why I'm so excited to be talking with you here today, Leslie. We do have a couple questions for people or from people. Is it okay if I'm over the age of 50 and want to get into the crypto industry, just got into the space and would love to make a transition?
100%. There is no age restriction. I think passion is, I think, number one. And I think that one thing that has come up with regards to, and having nothing to do, I think it's more just with experience. I think often, depending on the role of which you're trying to get into, obviously with HR, you don't have to have crypto experience. So it's really going to be role dependent. But what I would say is, make sure that you're keeping up on, read the white papers that the company provides in terms of the technology. We've hired people who have been personally involved in cryptocurrencies, but have no professional experience. And that's not, just make sure you highlight that in your resume or in your cover letter. Because I think that's really, really, really important as the hiring managers are looking through all of the applicants, is that what is their level of interest? What is their experience previously? And often we will look at candidates who just have a passion for blockchain and who have a passion for cryptocurrency. So, and definitely age is just a number, I will say. So I think there are no age restrictions. It's never too late to join the industry.
Great. Another question, are there any jobs for lawyers, like non-engineers? They say, I'm a property lawyer. Property is increasingly digital. Is there any role for a real estate attorney in the new age of digital property?
So specifically for the industry, in terms of real estate, I can't answer that, but I would say yes, there are roles for attorneys. So we actually have two. So our president is also our general counsel, and he also runs our business development. And he didn't have formal business development experience in the past. He was so there's a perfect example is that you can get into it especially if you want to change industries or change kind of the specific function of what you're doing. But that said, there's also a tremendous amount of legal activities that are happening. We do have a legal associate who's based in Amsterdam. So, and we will probably bring on another team member. So yes, I think it's there are a lot of opportunities. I think especially as we're navigating the different tax laws and contracts that exist. There's just new agreements that are going to be written up. So 100%, I think actually as an attorney, I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Awesome.
And we may have a role in a little while, so we'll see.
Well, good. The last question here for you. Do you think that people who have experience in banking/payment operations, compliance, risk management would have value to a crypto company? If so, what qualities or experience would translate well?
Yeah, so 100%. I think anybody with banking industry, because ultimately they're, I would say specifically like business analytics skills, financial analytics skills are incredibly important. I think with actually in any industry, but I think it definitely will translate to blockchain and to cryptocurrency companies. So, I think just think of any company, all of those functions, finance, accounting, HR, all of those operational groups, they have to exist. And I think, and if they don't exist in the organizations that you're interviewing for, like, just make sure that they will have that, because at the end of the day, like, all companies have to have those things to operate smoothly and to scale. So yes, I think so. In terms of, again, legal, finance, people who have experience in the financial industry, there are going to be opportunities.
Awesome. Leslie, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you. This is Leslie from Horizen Labs. More information underneath the video and on their website. Thanks.
Thanks so much for having me. Bye,
Definitely.
everybody.
Bye. All right. So just a friendly reminder, we do have the QR code on the screen, so you can scan that with your phone to get the Hirect app. Also, there is a link underneath the video for that. And there is a list of different jobs with with the company name and then also projected salary ranges underneath the video. And again, this is really for everyone that's interested in getting into crypto jobs. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. But now we have Boomer coming from Khelp Crypto. He's going to be on next with us. Until then, though, feel free to ask any questions again over in the chat too, and we'll be happy to answer them. So Boomer, thanks so much for joining. I think he's in here. So it might take 1 second, but I do see Boomer in here. So again, I'm just excited to talk with everyone about this kind of stuff. It's interesting too, because we have so many different people in here from different positions at different crypto related companies. And one piece of advice just from me to you guys is find like pain points in a business. And this I see a lot in the YouTube space. Like people don't even realize some of the jobs that make a ton of money in YouTube aren't anything to do with like creators. Like if you can bring a creator good value, they will hire you. So I think that's something to keep in mind. Like there are so many different jobs that you don't even think about that are kind of behind the scenes. So just getting more into the space, I think you'll find more job positions. So yeah, so again, feel free to ask any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. I think Boomer's coming in just a minute, so I can answer some questions for you guys. So I see some people asking, what is this? Because they're a little bit late. So this is me talking with about 5 or 6 different people that are in the crypto industry and trying to get a gauge for what kind of people they're looking for to hire. Because I said this at the beginning, but I feel like I was really lucky for the fact that I am in a position where I can spend my time where I want. So if I want to learn about some stock for a day, I can learn about it. If I want to learn about cryptos, I can learn about cryptos. But for a lot of people, like they're doing this in their free time and maybe they do want to transition over to doing this full time, but they don't know how. So that's where I'm showing some different people today that are looking for help. They're giving you advice on what they're looking for. A lot of it is engineering, but there are other positions too. Like I said, the person that I just talked to, Leslie, is the head of people, like an HR position, as I understand it at least. And all these different crypto companies still have those types of job positions that people just forget about. So you can be in crypto without having to be an engineer sometimes too. Of course, most of the jobs that they're looking for are engineering jobs, but there are other opportunities too. And again, there are links underneath the video, so that way you can check all the different jobs that these companies have. Now, of course, this is not an all exhaustive list of everyone that's hiring, but I think that this is good because these are in a variety of different spaces, even in crypto itself. So let me see what else we have. Please try to make app available here in Italy, please. So Pop Media, you can definitely check out the link underneath that's not to the app too. And I think they have a list. I don't think you have to be in the app or anything like that. I think it maybe is just a Google Doc or something like that, or some other kind of document that just give a list, and you can go through that too. Any Java positions? Personally, I don't know, but I'm guessing so. If you have coding experience, that's probably a good sign. 1 second here too. Okay. If you're not an engineer, what else could you be doing? So I actually know there's a company that I work with that's not even on this stream today, but I actually helped someone personally get an interview with them. It's someone that I've worked with for a while that was hiring for a position, and it's, like I said, it's at one of the companies I talk about here on the channel a lot, and they were looking for someone to help them with influencers. So they give out like brand deals, and they're trying to obviously get their name in front of as many people as possible. So I talk to them all the time. They said that they're hiring and to refer anyone that I know that would be good for that position. So I talked to my friend that's actually another YouTuber, kind of a smaller YouTuber, but he knows a good amount about crypto. He's had sales experience. He talks with me all the time. So an influencer, and he got a job interview, and actually is pretty well suited for it too. So that's where I think a lot of people don't understand. Hey, like I said, they're hiring for a lot of engineering positions, but like you could be a social media brand manager if you have experience with that, or you could be someone that brings like crypto deals, like you work with different projects and then you help bring deals to influencers and stuff like that. Like there are just so many opportunities. And I think maybe part of it is that, like I said, I am lucky to be in the space so much that I see all the different job positions that are kind of behind the scenes that people don't think about, but there are a lot of job positions that are available. Okay, I'm just reading some other questions. Carlos says, I've recently quit my job. And I'm interested in crypto, but have no experience. How can I become independent with crypto? And where should I go to learn? Any suggestions? So Boomer is coming on here in a second, but last question here. I think really trying to dive deep. I know that I learned a lot from YouTube, but there are a lot of good resources. I think Michael Saylor has like a whole education side of his business just to educate people on crypto. I think Real Vision Crypto does a really good job of that too, with Raul Paul, but there are a lot of good sources just on YouTube. I know that I like to watch a video format, which is obviously why I'm here, because this is what I like. I don't like reading about stuff because I get really bored. So I like seeing things in front of my face. So I think trying to learn as much about that as possible is a great thing. And then it looks like Boomer's coming on. So again, Boomer is from Khelp Crypto. So we'll have him in just a moment once his audio connects. But I'm happy to keep on answering some questions too for people if you guys have them. Let's see what other questions. Someone wants to know what I studied. So I said this a little bit at the beginning, but I actually studied medicine in college, and then kind of was so interested in finance that I transitioned to YouTube, and I started making enough that I could do this full time. So I was really lucky in that way, which is why I'm bringing you guys this here today, because so many other people don't have that option to go full time in something like YouTube at the beginning, and they have to find a different full-time job that will pay well right away, which is why I wanted to talk to so many people about where they're hiring and what kind of people they're hiring in the crypto space. So Boomer, good to have you on.
Sam, I apologize. Of course, technical difficulties. The moment you started recording, everything froze up on me.
That's okay. I get it. I've been there before many times going live with just myself. So no problem at all. Can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Yeah, for sure. So Khelp is a dual-pronged full suite digital asset platform. We actually have two varying business entities. Our core business, Khelp Financial, offers personalized, tailored crypto asset management to private households and businesses. So think like tailored wealth management, specifically for crypto, with a keen focus on offering DeFi solutions. So yield farming, liquidity protocols, lending protocols, DAO-based rebases, so it's pretty much everything. And then we also have Khelp Digital Assets, a separate business entity that launches, designs, and mints NFTs for pro athletes and entertainers. So the two kind of come together in the sense that we're trying to facilitate global adoption of digital assets and build client relationships across the board.
That's fantastic. So you said that you do that for businesses too?
Yes. So
Okay.
Stuff like treasury management, with obviously the new stablecoin lending markets that have evolved, there's now yield opportunity with little or minimal price volatility for businesses to hold, balance sheet cash and also still have 5, 6, 7% yield exposure, which is obviously advantageous relative to traditional financial markets and different money markets for their own sake.
That's fantastic. I know personally, I do that myself. Like I don't have all my cash just sitting around in the bank. And for me, it's different because obviously I'm the only one here, but it is really nice to not lose, 5% to inflation every single year, especially if you're someone that needs millions of dollars just in case something pops up. So that's awesome. You guys offer that. So can you tell me a little bit more about what you guys have going on right now, what you're really excited for in the future? Because like I said earlier in the stream, like things change so quickly that it seems like everyone I talk to is excited about something.
So we're actually pending registration with Florida and Georgia to become a registered investment advisor. So we're trying to get all the bells and whistles taken care of from a regulatory standpoint. And our goal is to basically become registered across the East Coast, expand nationally, eventually with the SEC. So that's an initiative that's going to be kind of rolling out over the next 12 months. And we're just really excited to basically finally offer, private clients and households exposure into some of these DeFi solutions through all these different yield farming opportunities that they just have absolutely no idea how to access, where to start, which you're going through now. So it's definitely a rabbit hole that does not, basically show itself overnight.
Yeah, DeFi, I think, is definitely one of those things that you get into after you've already been in crypto for a while, you've been in stablecoin, and then you're like, oh, what's that over there? And then you finally get into it, and it's just this rabbit hole. Exactly. And I know I just started, farming recently, and it's still like, there's so many different options and different risk that you need to know about. And honestly, it can be overwhelming for a lot of people. So that's awesome that you're helping with that.
Exactly. It's overwhelming and it's tough because there's so many different yield opportunities out there too, where a lot of people are influenced by excessive yield, 1,000% APY, and they flock in, but little do they know that maybe the underlying protocols aren't secure, they're not bug free, and what exposure with those altcoins do they have? Are these small cap coins that have significant price volatility? Or these application centered blockchains like Ethereum, like the Polkadot, the Solanas of the world, which obviously have a different use case per se, and definitely price volatility.
Definitely. What good is 200% if there's a 99% chance you lose it? So
exactly,
I think that's fantastic. So obviously, I think it's cool because I think a lot of people on this are probably looking at your website or want to look at your website for maybe them personally because they have businesses or they want to invest personally with you guys in the future. But what are you guys looking for more in the people that you're hiring?
Yeah, so the hiring is going to be an interesting process through 2022. So we're actually doing our pre-seed raise right now so that we can have this sufficient capital to hire. But it's going to be across the board. We're a 3-man team right now. So we're going to need help from operations to marketing to human resources to people. And there's so many different job opportunities, I think, over the next 24 months that we're going to have arise. And like you were talking about earlier, you don't necessarily need the crypto background. There's, people with credential backgrounds from banking, tech, consulting who can hit the ground running and provide experience and contribute their share to us right off the bat. And then there's those who don't have necessarily the experience, but have gotten engulfed in the space, understand basically how to farm, how to cross chain, how to use different networks. So I think there's different skill sets available for everybody. And really it's just about the passion and taking an initiative with us. So
that's fantastic. I love that you guys are hiring for other stuff too. Nothing against computer engineers or other types of engineers, but it is always refreshing for people that maybe feel like they can't get into crypto to hear that there are other positions open. So we talked about your business. Can you tell them where they can find more information on all this too?
Yeah. So as of right now, it doesn't exist. Okay. This will be rolled out through 1Q and 2Q of next year. So we'll be working with Hirect to make these kind of opportunities available. So as of right now, unfortunately, there's not. I think it's just initiating dialogue and staying in touch. And then once these opportunities do become available, to kind of hit the ground running from there.
Awesome. But they can find more information about you on your website, correct?
Yeah, check us out, our website. Unfortunately, we have limited information on the digital asset management until we officially are registered, but you can check us out on LinkedIn. Our Khelp digital assets, our NFT origination business. We've got a ton of really, really cool pro athletes launching over the next 4 to 6 weeks. So feel free to follow along and buy an NFT along the way. So we're excited.
Awesome. Do you have any exciting athlete artist projects coming up for NFTs that you can tell us about? Someone wants to know.
I can't say specifically the names, but we have some exciting guys coming out of the UFC, NFL, NHL, and a couple NCAA basketball and football over the next 6 weeks. So if you follow along, you'll be pretty excited by some of the names dropping.
Okay, awesome. And then something that I've just been asking everyone, since you've been in crypto for a while, you're deep into it. Where do you see crypto in the coming years? Maybe 2025, 2030. We could be here for half an hour, but
I was going to say, you don't have me booked till 3:30 Eastern time, but for me, I genuinely see a metaverse on the horizon with the next 5 years, but a different concept and perception than I think mainstream media has conveyed to the average person out there. I think you're going to have an individual, public ID, think like your MetaMask wallet, your individual address, and you're going to be able to interact with all these Web3 decentralized websites where it could be lending, it could be finance, it could be your movie tickets, your NFL tickets, whatever it might be, but you're using the same digital identity, the same, public ID wallet address to access all of these different platforms. So you're going to be fully engulfed in this new digital world. I don't know if that means, I'm going to have my Sims character necessarily running around the house just yet. I think that's definitely down the road, but it's still cool to see, the visuals being created and everyone working on the underlying infrastructure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually filmed a video for later today on Metaverse, and I was talking about how I think people don't understand all the different things that will take place in the Metaverse, like everything that happens in real world. Like you could be going to different Etsy shops into the Metaverse and buying like products that you'll get in real life, but testing them out in the Metaverse. And it's just really cool to think about all the different applications of it down the road a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. We're actually just starting to work with a company that is taking tangible items and giving them QR codes embedded into the items so that you can then track and obviously broadcast it up to whatever blockchain network it's hosted by to account for that asset, whether it's intangible or tangible, and being able to translate that into the simulated metaverse is going to be pretty cool.
That's very cool. Well, awesome, Boomer. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry for the delays.
No problem at all. No problem. Thanks.
All right, take care.
Take care. All right. So again, just a friendly reminder, there are links underneath the video to get more information from Hirect that work with a lot of these different companies. And there's a list of different job positions and stuff like that. So next we have Masha Boone, the VP of People at Rarible. Thank you so much for coming on. And I believe she's connecting to audio. I get a little bit excited and introduce a little bit quickly here, but awesome.
Hi, folks.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. Can you tell us a little bit about what Rarible does? I think you are one of the larger companies that we're talking to today. So I think a lot of people have heard of Rarible, but can you explain it a little bit maybe?
Absolutely, would love that. And I'm Masha Boone. I don't know if you introduced me before I connected. I'm sure you did. Yes, I'm head of people for Rarible, and Rarible is a leading marketplace and protocol that for creating, selling, buying, collecting NFTs. Do I need to explain what NFTs are for this crowd? Or I think maybe people probably know, right?
I think they know. Yeah, they'll know what NFTs are for sure. But I do have some cool questions for you on NFTs a little bit more down the line. Yeah. So, well, we can dig into it now. So obviously as the VP of People, you especially at an NFT company, you see that NFTs aren't necessarily just digital art all the time. And I think that is what we all say, right? We all just say, oh, it's digital art. That's easy to understand. I can put it up on this digital picture frame behind me. But can you explain maybe like what's going to happen in the future with NFTs that people maybe don't understand right now?
I know, right? I mean, I'm going to take my crystal ball out and talk a little bit about it. But yeah, like that's the fascinating part of what we do right now, right? So we just at the tip of the iceberg. And right now, yes, it's a disruption with disruptors like NFTs, disruption to ownership for music, for art, right? And already getting a little bit into sports as well and gaming. And this is fascinating to see how like platforms like Rarible and others can give creators some tools to create, to monetize already, be a little bit, do it with a little more accessibility and ease, right? With some of the functions of like, free lazy minting and things like that. But what's next? Really in the industries who really look out to deepen their connection with the community, those folks will be the winners in the future with NFTs. And we already see a lot of blending of different industries in NFT set. For example, music, entertainment, art, fashion, right? Like, for example, we had one of the folks, like the famous rapper, French Montana, he had a drop on a launch on our platform where, he broke into Metaverse, the Central Metaverse that way. They launched a 3,001 limited edition wearable sneakers on our platform, right? So, and moving forward, besides, as Rarible at this moment, we are focusing on unlocking creativity and giving back to artists, but moving forward, like ways and steps ahead, I don't know, like the sky is the limit. We can buy houses instead of escrow accounts, having like smart contracts for that money to be like, for sure delivered where it needs to be delivered after the purchase. It could be, I don't know, besides the metaverse, we're already almost all living in, and will be more and more, right, where we can live and communicate and make money and collaborate. It could be like, I don't know, real estate, legal, I don't know, like, as I said, just recruitment, right? Like job market has already been disrupted by NFTs as well.
Yeah, definitely. I love that because, again, I think so many people just think of it as art, but I mean, from tracking different goods to, like you said, music, making sure that creators actually get paid well instead of just it taken away from them, essentially.
Yeah.
To the metaverse, especially with trillion-dollar companies now getting interested in it. There's so much changing, and it's so quick that a lot of people will get kind of left behind and not realize how big it is until maybe until it's so obvious, or maybe they don't even realize that they're using NFTs.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Like, it's not going to be too late. We're all going to get there, right? Like, and sometimes we're just not going to realize it. It just, we're not realizing it sometimes now. Yeah.
So what are you guys looking forward to as a company right now? Like what do you have that's off in the distance that you're just so excited about? I've been asking that question to a lot of people because the market changes so quickly, and these companies like Rarible are growing so quickly. I'd love to hear about it.
We are growing, and as a VP of people, I'll be the first one to tell you, right? We quadrupled over like 4 months, over the last 4 months. I'm sorry, you see me. And industry itself is growing so fast, and so much hiring is happening internally. I would love to talk a little bit about, let me tell you about some of our exciting news first. We just launched mobile app, which is amazing, like a couple of days ago, which helps with discovering, engaging, right? You can go in, like bookmark some things, share, display it on your phone as a cool, like a widget on your front page. We just announced Flow integration, which is a blockchain that really aims to bring different marketplaces together on top of it, and it really will allow for interoperability and help with liquidity in the market, and this is what we're really excited about as well, this integration in particular, but also going multi-chain, we really believe that future is into that multi-entry point where it's accessible for everyone, literally for everyone, not only the folks who are crypto savvy.
Yeah, definitely. That's very cool. So obviously, we're here to talk about what you guys are looking for too, because that's great to hear about what your company is doing, and that's very exciting, but you need people to run it. So can you tell us a little bit about like the types of people that you're looking for to join your company?
Absolutely. And we are looking, and that's how I got myself into NFT and crypto world. I joined Rarible, I got to meet the team. I saw the passion, the excitement, I'm still looking for a positive word to say. It's a cult, right? Like, where people, you're like, I have no idea how I never realized that, right? And so we're looking for folks from all over. We're not focusing on blockchain industry. I meet so many people every day who are excited about us, about NFT market, about the marketplace protocol. I open my web applications, and I see amazing, incredible people who just reach out there, but also, industry is growing and becoming more and more like borderless, digital, transparent. Same happening with the job search, and whenever people talk to me, like, what if I want to get in a blockchain space? I always say, like, hey, just go for it. We found one of our leadership folks right now on Twitter, in a conversation. We had one folk minting his application on Rarible. We of course hiring him, not because of that. He's a great candidate, but still, like, go for it, engage in the community, go engage, like, try out lazy minting on Rarible, get yourself into that. We're looking for, of course, talent skill, great, right? Development community is really, of course, engineering talent is always booming. Marketing in our industry is really in need for folks right now, as well as we are aiming to go mainstream, right? We are really building out our marketing and communications team. And I think I posted a couple of roles in Hirect there. We're just looking for folks to wanna, be a part of it and ready for moving fast and making an impact.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we do have a couple questions from
Yeah.
the audience, but first I do want to ask one other question. Where do you see crypto in the next 5 or 10 years, or where do you see NFTs in the next 5 to 10 years? Which we talked about that a little bit, maybe that people won't even realize that they're using it, but I'd love to hear.
We did cover it a little bit throughout the questions, I think, as well, like that blending of different industries, that accessibility, that like borderless access to it. That's the key. Going mainstream. There's no really other way. And on a bigger picture, that's how we position ourselves. Like we do want to take NFT mainstream, and we're on a journey to go there and open up the NFT market, where your ownership is unchanged. Like when you own something, you own it, and you live like you can go anywhere with your mobile phone and with your key, really, and have everything that you own with you.
That's fantastic. Okay, so a couple of questions from the audience.
Yeah.
This first one's a little bit more technical. Do NFTs give their holders copyrights?
That's a very good question. I'm not going to be able to talk to specific of it, but there is a way where there are royalties to be paid if it's used, if it been something when you resell them and the next person resell them, you can still get royalties from that. But I think there other people who can answer it better.
Yeah. So
feel free to reach out to me. I can connect you on that question too.
Definitely. All right. And then what makes Rarible different than maybe some other NFT platforms, whether it's NBA Top Shot, DraftKings, OpenSea, those types of platforms?
Right. Yeah, it's a very good question. And we love all the platforms that you mentioned. We're all working together to grow this market, right? We're like this big of a part of potential market all together. We're all doing different things and different things well. We pride ourselves at really accessible marketplace, right? Where under 10 minutes you can come in, mint. There's a lazy minting function where you don't have to pay anything up front and just make it and sell it. We are partnering with Work now on being able for folks who don't own crypto that they can pay with their credit cards, right? So we really focus on the community. We focus on that accessibility where everyone is welcome, and really proud of that.
That's awesome. I think that's so key because a lot of people still might want to invest in NFTs, but they don't know how to go buy it and then put it in a wallet and then make your or go to your website and then do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So making it as easy as possible for people, I think is so key for adoption and just awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Again, can you tell people maybe where they can find a little bit more information about Rarible?
Absolutely. Rarible Jobs for sure. Connect with me on Twitter, Masha Boone. Connect to Rarible on Twitter. That's in Discord as well. And seriously, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm not lying about being toward community. I do respond to my LinkedIn messages. So.
Awesome. Well, Masha, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for today. Bye.
Definitely. Bye-bye. All right. So we have one more group coming on here. From Conductive Research, Spencer and Paul. So they will be on in a moment, but we are just going to remind you, hey, there's the link underneath the video with all the different job descriptions. There's a link to the app too, and you can scan it right on screen too. So Paul, Spencer, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, Sam.
Definitely. Happy to have you guys on here, kind of closing out the stream too. So excited for this. Can you guys tell me a little bit more about what you guys do over at Conductive Research?
Yeah, absolutely. I can start first. So my name is Paul Pierre. I'm the CTO of Conductive Research. My background's in mobile gaming and ad tech. And a little bit about Conductive. Our mission is to kind of make it seamless for developers to innovate their product on Web3 technologies because it can be like a bit confusing and like there isn't enough abstraction. And kind of what we see is people are kind of like rebuilding the same thing over and over, duct taping a bunch of open source together. So we're kind of aiming to do what Shopify did for e-commerce for the average web developer.
Interesting.
And hey, I'm Spencer Yip, and I come from a gaming background. I led gaming communities and became a director and programmer on several Nintendo Switch and PlayStation games. I was really interested in the blockchain to see, like, because there's so many problems to solve about usability. I think for a lot of people who never used the blockchain before, like crypto curious people, they want to get into it, but it's just so hard to get into right now. And like Conductive Research as being the CPO, like I want to solve these usability issues and make Web3 a seamless platform for an average person to use and for developers to innovate on.
That's awesome. I was talking with this just before, basically with Masha, just saying that I think making it as easy for people as possible is so key for crypto, but also like on the back end, just so that people don't have to do the same thing over and over and over again is really important for the adoption and the change in the community. Because if everyone's still just doing the same thing just to get off the ground, it wastes a lot of time. So that's awesome that you guys help with that.
Totally.
Yeah. So what are you guys looking forward to? And I don't know if you're watching the video before this, but I have brought this up to everyone because the crypto industry is changing so quickly and everyone's excited about what they're doing, I feel like, which is awesome because if you talk to someone in a normal job, it's just, the 9 to 5, they're going to work just to get the next paycheck. And then there's nothing really exciting, but everyone is so energetic in this space. So I'd love to hear about what you guys are focused on right now and, really chomping at the bit to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like,
go ahead,
please,
Spencer.
Paul, go for it. You can go first.
Okay, yeah. So, I mentioned we build tools for developers. So one of the big things we're developing is this tool called Hyperperk, kind of like a Shopify thing I was mentioning. It's the best way to describe it is a Web3 token gamification launchpad for anyone with a brand, really. So if you have a video game, if you have a PFP series, you would go on our platform to kind of like launch it and have stuff for people with your tokens or NFTs to do. So we essentially provide a token utility. And the second major product we have is analytics platform called Frame. And the purpose of Frame is to kind of answer what are our users doing in my dApp, similar to Google Analytics. But the difference here is we also answer how are my tokens flowing in my economy. So we actually track on-chain data and we kind of pair Web2 and Web3 analytics together. And that's kind of what we're working on. And we hope to launch publicly Q1 next year.
Awesome. Spencer, anything to add?
Yeah, like I think for like the gamification platform is really key because it shows what you can do with your tokens right away. I mean, maybe your tokens can be used to watch a video, or your tokens can be used to interact with the community, or your tokens can be used to play mini games. And these are all different components that we have as part of Hyperperk that we're building to be a solution for a broad range of platforms, whether you're a DEX, whether you're a video game, like a blockchain game, or whether you're running a community project.
Awesome. So what are you guys looking for exactly from the people that you're hiring right now?
I think in general, we're just looking for people that are actually crypto curious, people that like to learn. It's a plus if you have an experience in games, because we all come from gaming backgrounds. But specifically for positions, we're looking for engineers, analysts, back-end, front-end engineers, really people that are like interested in building, but also learning as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. Our culture is kind of like a hackathon style culture, and we actually want a hackathon too, creating a platform where NFTs can be used in any video game. So like we have this spirit of community building and creating that we want to create solutions together.
Very interesting. Yeah. So you guys are obviously way past where I am technically, but I see the way that the future is going and that everything needs a utility, some value prop. And I feel like gaming is such a big opportunity, whether you're on the back end, whether you're just investing in gaming and NFTs. I feel like there's so much opportunity because people just generally find enjoyment in that space. So can you maybe tell me a little bit more where you see this industry going, NFTs and then also crypto and gaming too in the crypto space?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what we're going to start to see is NFTs, because right now people use them as profiles to flex on Twitter, on Discord, but we're going to start to see it do things in real life. I don't know if you've been following the DJ Blau, he put up some NFTs for sale to bid, and if you hold the NFT, you can record with him. You get VIP access to Coachella. More recently, an interesting thing is the Constitution DAO. There's a group of people that got together and they decided, hey, we're going to buy a copy of the Constitution. and they're actually doing it. Today they're bidding on Sotheby's, and I feel like that's really important because it's very understandable for the average person to understand what tokens can do as a coordination mechanism. And so we're going to start to see more of this, and you're going to start to see it kind of like impact politics because of how fast you can raise capital and things like that. And you're going to start to see it more in the news and the New York Times. So yeah. I think for that, I'm like super excited about.
Interesting. Very cool. Ben?
Yeah, specifically when it comes to games, like right now when you play a game, you might sink in, 80, 100 hours of your life. And then one day you turn the game off and your progress is just locked in that game forever, never to get your time back. But I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for cross-game transfers, possibly having arbitrage on your time. I see that as a start of new game genres, and possibly even metaverse games where you have different NFT projects working together officially or unofficially to have those characters within a game, so you can unite communities together, kind of something like a Smash Brothers, but for the metaverse.
That's fantastic. I feel like so many people understand that too. Anyone that played games, I feel like definitely had that. I always go back to Madden 2018, and I spent hours in college. I was spending hours playing this game during class, and I did fantastic. I had like all the top characters, and I got them by the end of the season, just in time for them to really tone down the game and start developing the new one. So I know how frustrating that can be, and I feel like that's such a large potential, especially if you're someone that is very skilled or gets to be very skilled on a game, where you can actually really benefit outside of the game and not just take that like maybe muscle memory or knowledge of how to beat a game and actually help you out in the long run, which is awesome. But could you guys tell me maybe a little bit more about where people can learn more information about what you guys do?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, conductiveresearch.com. We have a resource that we give to our engineers internally where if you're just a regular developer or just maybe an analyst or something, you want to learn more and understand what podcast should I listen to, what YouTube channel should I follow, you can go to web3.conductiveresearch.com. And it's just a Notion with a list of what should you do next in sequence. So hopefully that helps your audience.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Very cool to see your side of crypto too. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, sorry. If I have you guys still here, sorry, I didn't realize there was a question from the audience. Do you guys have any advice on starting an NFT company or creating a first project?
I think if I were to give advice, it's like, what are you going to do differently in this space? Like there are a lot of NFT projects, and a lot of times like there's you create your NFTs, like, but what's the utility behind them? So you want to think like what utility you can give and what experience you can give to your users and your community first.
Yeah, and you kind of want to think of it like a club. Like I would recommend that if you want to start an NFT project, actually start joining the Discord, see what value they're offering the community. You can kind of see the roadmap and, take your own spin on it. And that's the best way to start through the community.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for staying on there too for the question. And nice to meet both of you too.
Likewise.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Yeah.
Bye.
All right. So I appreciate everyone watching the stream. Hopefully you got some ideas because we had all different sides of crypto in here, from crypto gaming to NFTs to a lot of stuff on the back end, to DeFi, to investment, like companies that are actually helping people and companies invest into crypto. So I really hope that helps. Like I said, I said this at the beginning a little bit, but I don't think it can be overstated that I feel like I'm very lucky in that I can do what I want to do. I want to help other people be able to do the same thing. And I know that there is a lot of confusion maybe over the jobs in crypto and what's possible in crypto, what companies are looking for, because it's honestly hard to find all the different kinds of companies that are in crypto. Because I guarantee you 4 or 5 of these companies I talked to today, of the 5 or 6, you probably haven't heard of. Right. So it's hard to know all the different opportunities if you don't even know the companies that are in this space. So that's why I want to bring to your attention some of these. Hopefully we can do this again at some point too, just because there will be more and more job opportunities and more companies that are interested in hiring. And there isn't a lot of good talent, I think, in crypto. I mean, I don't want to say the people that are in crypto aren't talented, but there isn't enough because it's growing so much as an industry and so few people actually know about it that if you're watching this, you're part of the 90, you're part of the 1%, one of the 2%. The other 98, 99% of people don't understand what crypto is. They're not interested in crypto. It's too confusing. And it's just not something that they want to put their time and effort into. So that's where I think a lot of people that are here, that are watching, can get some value out of that. And hopefully, a handful of people can actually get jobs. I know there are 100, I think there are over 100 jobs posted underneath the video in that link. And they give you the company that you're working with. You can take a look. You can just Google it, obviously, and figure out what they do. And then the job position too, and maybe the salary. So that way you can figure out, will this make enough to want to leave my current job and jump in? So I really appreciate everyone being here. Again, there are links. I've said this many times, but there's a link right now on the stream right now. You can just scan that with your phone or a little whatever it's called, a little box that you can take a picture of, and it will take you to the website for Hirect or take you to the app so you can download it, check out some of the open jobs and fill out an application if you're interested. Also, there's that link underneath the video to get the Hirect app. Thank you again to Hirect and everyone for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone that's been watching too. Hopefully it was a good experience. So appreciate it. Thank you guys all so much.